What is up, everybody on the Strike team? So today we are going to be covering something a little different, something I like to call champion identity. And this is really important when it comes to trading in lane and winning your lanes. Every single champion in this game has a champion identity. So it's something that I think is really important for everybody to identify when they're playing the game. So this game I'm playing Gangplank, and we can kind of talk through it as we talk through the beginning of the game and how this wins, like how the way that I play Gangplank here and understanding champion identity helps me win the game. So at a bird's eye view, what we can start to talk about is kind of what does champion identity mean? Well, what it really means is when I look at Gangplank and I think about like how a champion works and what he wants to do, he is a burst champion, right? He does big damage fast, but then he has substantial cooldowns. Now, there are certain things you can build, certain ways you can play that kind of shift the champion's identity. It's not necessarily how the champion, how you play the champion. It's how the champion is designed to be played, right? So when we look at Ahri, right, that is a burst champion. When we look at Gangplank, burst champion. When we look at Graves, how he's intended to be played, he's a burst champion, but he also can do pretty good in an extended fight, right? Now, if we look at Smolder, 100% an extended fight champion, right? The longer the fight goes, the stronger Smolder is going to be for your team or you as a player, etc. When we look at Morgana, right, that is a burst champion, right? Hard CC, hard lockdown for an extended duration, but then she has substantial cooldowns, so the longer the fight goes, because she has longer cooldowns, the more time she spends not being as useful, right? Now, it's kind of hard to explain in this way, so it's easier for me to kind of explain this like as we play, right? So, as we're going here, I know that this is kind of, if you're thinking, okay, so what's my champion? How is my champion good? So let's talk about, let's say Darius, for example. Darius, the longer a fight goes on, the happier Darius is. Because he gets more stats and more use out of his kit, the longer the fight goes on. Counter, the longer a fight goes on for me as Gangplank, the worse it is, right? I want short trades, I want short fights. So similarly, right, if we look at this lane, the longer a fight goes on, if Olaf can keep picking up his axes, the better the fight is for Olaf. So my goal is to just keep getting short trades over and over and over. Now, this guy clearly not super experienced in Olaf, otherwise probably be abusing his axes a little bit more than he is. But what we see here is, right, as soon as I have my cooldowns, right, and I know that I can't get a barrel down and I've used my passive here, right, I'm just going to run away. And the reason I'm going to run away is because I know that the longer this fight goes on, the better it gets for the Olaf, right? Because the Olaf wants a long fight, right? This is what the Olaf is after. I, on the other hand, short fight, the better it is for me. So I'm going to get this short trade in as Gangplank, and then I'm going to try and disengage and end the fight here for when my cooldowns come back, and then we go for another short trade, right? So there's this ebb and flow pretty much to offense and defense in how you play in the lane. Alright, so as we watch here, right, I've used my abilities, so now's my time to just run. I just have to get out of here, right? Because if I continue this fight, I just 100% lose. Now, he takes an axe there, he hits level 2. If he would have hit level 2 and I would have fought on that wave, I 100% would have died. So now, let's take a look at my champion, right? My cooldowns are back up. So now, I can take another trade. And I've just now realized that my camera is a little bit in the way here. So I will shift it over to here so that you guys can see specifically what I was talking about. Earlier, my passive and my barrel was on cooldown when I was running away from the Olaf. Now I have a barrel back, right? Now, how I know that my champion identity is I want short trades is because the more I do that, right, and I trade around this like 10-second window, the better it is for me. So as soon as I do that, I'm not looking to trade. I know he just used his axe, but I'm not looking to trade because the lower I get him and the healthier I stay around these short trades, the higher chance there is that I actually execute a kill, right? So it's these windows of aggression where we punish in our offense, we hit our cooldowns, and then we play defense. Now, if he wants to fight me in a wave, right, this is a core concept of playing good defense. Good defense is played in your wave, especially in the early levels. Because right now, I have my Q coming back up. I'm not going to have a barrel, but realistically, I don't need a barrel. And the reason I don't need a barrel is because of the fact that he's fighting me in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 7 minions, apologies, plus a cannon. So as soon as he hits me here, right, you'll see what happens. I walk back and I start trading with him because I know that A, he has no mana. Even if he does have enough mana for any of his abilities, he doesn't have enough mana to kill me with any of them. And now my abilities are coming off cooldown. So this is the most advantageous place for me to turn this fight because he's in my wave. My cooldowns are about to come back up, and I have health advantage. Now, this Olaf obviously messed up this lane by playing this way and everything else, but the ability to win in these situations is really important, right? Because when you see this matchup, realistically, Olaf should murder Gangplank in the early game. But because he doesn't understand where to trade in terms of his waves, when to trade in terms of his cooldowns, and his champion identity, he loses, right? Because there are instances where he hit me with an axe, right? And then he didn't extend the fight because he's not paying attention to the fact that the longer the fight is, the better it is for him, and the shorter the fight is, the better it is for me, right? Now, understanding this with your champion in the early game is really important because that's how you can tell, and there are certain things that really add into this. Like if you look here, this Ari taking Ignite, right, and taking Electrocute. So what this Ari should want to do, ideally, is play around short burst trades, right? Kayn probably looking to play around short burst trades if he's blue Kayn. If he goes red Kayn, long extended fight. So a champion's identity isn't always going to be just black and white. This is what it is. This is what it isn't. But that depends on your build and kind of how you play the champion out throughout the game. But in the early game, when all you have no items, and you're just relying on your base cooldown, your base health, your base kit, your base damage, your champion is designed to be played a certain way. And they're either designed to be played in almost an extended state, right? Where the longer the fight goes, the more ramping they have in their kit and the stronger they get, or they're designed to be played in short burst. They have a lot of power and then they have these long cooldowns, right? And they fall off. So take a look at that and really think about, like, out of the champions I play, how are they designed to be played? And then once you understand how they're designed to be played, when you're in lane, think about, okay, what are my trading windows? Do I trade fast and then get out? Or do I want to let the wave push all the way up and then try and catch someone in an extended lane state and try and trade for a long, long, long time back the other way, right? The tricky thing is, all of this, as important as it is, all has to be managed with early game wave management and early game runes and summoners. So I'm gonna make some videos talking about that later on, and we'll get into kind of how to do your pre-game analysis on when you look at the enemy team, when you look at your team, when you're playing bot lane, when you're playing mid lane, and maybe I'll make it about bot lane specifically, so that way you guys can take those other aspects of trading in the early game and kind of how to manage your champion and aggression early game to win lane. Um, and we'll do a breakdown on that. So thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm going to try to keep making some more of this short form content for, tips and tricks. And I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks.